Court Uncut, what the people want. Today we got a crazy one for you. This man claims he was under the influence when he walked into a police station and confessed to taking someone's life. Now he wants to be set free and says it was just the PCP that made him make that type of confession. There's only one problem. Make sure to watch the full video to find out. Let's get into it.
And we now call 24-CR-1373, the state of Texas versus Damon Lewis, who's here with Mr. Wilkerson. Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Lower your hand. Go ahead.
You're Damon Lewis, correct?
Yes.
And you're the gentleman who is charged in this matter, correct?
And again, this is cause number 24-CR-1373.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
On June 14th of 2024, you went to the Beaumont Police Station at some point. Is that correct? Port Arthur Police Department. Can you tell the court the circumstances surrounding you going to the police department?
I don't basically think I was speaking to people that following them.
Okay, you're talking about phencyclidine, I guess. When you say PCP, phencyclidine?
So you went to the Port Arthur Police Station because you believed people were following you?
Yes.
Did you were you feeling threatened in some way by these?
Yes.
And so when you entered the police station, you then advised that you were involved in a murder that took place back in 2014. Can you obviously you contend that you weren't involved in that murder and made the statements that you made that evening while intoxicated?
Yes.
And can you tell the court why you told police officers that or gave the statements that you provided at that time?
I felt like it was a safe spot for me.
And so are you saying that you told them that you were involved in this murder because you felt like that was a safe place for you to be and it would result in you being held there?
Yes.
And so you were after you went in and told them what you were there for, you were then questioned. Is that accurate? Taken to an interview room and questioned? And are you contending that because of your level of intoxication, you did not knowingly or meaningfully waive your rights?
Yes.
And you're aware that the court has reviewed the video regarding that interview, correct? I'll pass it over to Sherman.
So you've been how many times before, haven't you? Matter of fact, you've got several convictions for intoxication or for possession of controlled substances. And not one of these times did you ever go to the police station and confess to a crime, did you?
All of them was delirious.
When you
Sir,
go
you said you were delirious?
No.
Is that what you said?
All of them was delirious.
Oh, those were
Deliveries. Oh, okay.
deliveries.
So when you have possessions of controlled substance and deliveries of controlled substances, right? Okay. So that day, we should see you acting paranoid on the video, shouldn't the judge? He should see you looking around, trying to figure out whether there's voices or people chasing you, right?
The drug had many side effects on it. I can't remember once I got in there.
So when you got in there, the fact that you kept correcting the detective while she was asking you questions and was misstating things, and you corrected her about what was happening in the murder, that wasn't because you knew what was happening, it's because you were intoxicated, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the detective would have seen that you were high, wouldn't she? I mean, she's been around for many, many years. She would have known that you were high, wouldn't she? And she would have said, no, I can't do this. You're intoxicated, right?
I don't know. I can't say yes or no.
And your records out at the jail should say person appeared to be intoxicated or high on something, shouldn't it?
I was in dorm for 2 weeks once I got there.
Well, they said you were suicidal, which is normal for people that go into jail for murder. Sometimes they get depressed while they're in there, right?
Yeah, I'm not depressed. I wasn't depressed. I was high.
Well, you put on your papers that you tried to commit suicide before.
Yes, I had.
Okay, so that's not a sign of depression or anything.
That was, but I was high and intoxicated.
So basically what you're saying to the court is that you gave a full confession to a murder on video and now you want to take it back. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions, Judge.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. I would ask the court, obviously, to, and I believe the court, while we've been presenting some testimony, has reviewed the medical reports that were submitted and admitted as exhibits. I
You're
would,
talking about defendants exhibits 1 and 2.
yes, Your Honor, I would note that obviously there were some activities such as the removal of the jumper and things of that nature that would seem to support the allegation that he was intoxicated at that time.
Just a couple of things that I need clear, Mr. Lewis. You're telling me that you were high on phencyclidine PCP during this time.
Yes, sir.
And where did that come from? Where did the PCP come from?
I'm getting on the streets. I'm a heavy user of the terms.
So you voluntarily took this PCP. That was voluntary on your part. You
Yes,
sought it out, and
yes.
have you used PCP for a long time?
Since I'm like 17, 16.
Since you were 16 or 17?
Yes.
And you, or right now, it says you were born in 77, so you'd have been 17 in like 94. So we're talking about 20 years,
Yes, sir.
30 years. Going on 30 years, you've been a phencyclidine user.
Yes,
So
sir.
do you get it at the same place? From the
Yeah.
same location, or different people provide it for you?
You know, different people off the streets.
But the important point of all of this is this was something that you voluntarily sought out and used, and that's what caused, that was one of the causes of what happened here that put you in this courtroom.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you understand that there is a general rule of law that voluntary intoxication, whether it's drugs or alcohol, that's not a defense? That is not a defense under law, and you're held responsible, because if that were a way out of getting responsible, being held responsible for crimes, people would, before they went to rob a bank, they'd get drunk and then go rob the bank and say, I was drunk, so I can get out of jail free now. That's not the way the rule of law is. But you have a long history of phencyclidine use. You know what it does to you. And you know that when you act, when you're high, you're held responsible, whether you are in your right mind or not. And if it's voluntary, you have to accept and deal with the consequences. Do you understand? Even if you're, that's just like people, this is just like people who are intoxicated and they go out and if they're in a wreck and somebody gets hurt or killed, they can't say, well, I was intoxicated. I don't even remember. I don't even know I was out of my right mind. Can I go home now? No, they're held accountable because voluntary intoxication is not a defense. And that's what you're asserting. And whatever happens during voluntary intoxication, you're held responsibility for. So, like this murder, you may or may not remember it, but when you accepted PCP and used PCP, then you are held accountable for what happens next in PCP. Otherwise, that would be a get out of jail free card, which we don't have. People don't have get out of jail free cards for this. you're going to be held responsible, whether you're going to remember it or not. And we all know, and you especially know, what phencyclidine can do. You're lucky to still be alive, really, because it's very harmful to people. It's very harmful. I think I can't recall now, but phencyclidine is used just for very unique situations that are dreadful to even think about, because it has little use except for very unique situations. But that's the essence of the rule of law, and the court rules that this is not an excuse. It is not a defense, and it still holds you accountable for your actions. And we move forward.
Judge, just for record purposes, maybe a little redirect here. The allegation is that not that the act occurred while he was intoxicated, but that when he gave his confession, he alleges it wasn't given voluntarily. And I believe the court's aware. I just wanted to clarify, given that.
Same rules would apply. I mean, it would be real simple. People would take a pill right before they go into the police and find out what happens, and then later on would say, well, this didn't turn out well for me, so I get to take it back. Now I'm not held responsible. I mean, that is one of those, I've outwitted the rule of law. I don't believe that is applicable under voluntary consumption, PCP, especially someone who has been using it for 20 years. Sir? 30 years. And you know what, you probably are an expert at this. In fact, you could probably, if you just would decide to do the right thing and make the right choices, you could probably help save people's lives. Because people would listen to you who were users, and they'd say, he's got a good point. And he's an example of what can happen. And I'm impressed that he cares enough that he would like to help do something to keep people from being put in situations that he put himself into. And that's a very selfless thing. It's a wonderful thing to do, to think about. Something to consider, especially when you're charged with such a serious crime like this, because it's going to have its consequences. But you're also in a position, even with bad choices and bad situation, you could probably be responsible for saving some people's lives if you wanted to, if that was important to you. And it might be, but only you know. Nonetheless, on this, the court denies any motions to suppress. The court finds that based upon the circumstances of the record, that essentially the defendant is relying on involuntary intoxication to avoid being held responsible for decisions and acts he made while under voluntary intoxication. And the court finds, does not excuse his actions or performance while under, even if he was under intoxication of phencyclidine, and thus he is still held responsible for the results that occurred. That is all set for trial. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the Here at 6, a 10-year-old cold case is closer to being closed. A Jefferson County grand jury has indicted a man who confessed to a Valentine's Day murder. Damon Lewis is charged with killing Eric Knoll back in 2014. After hearing gunshots, Port Arthur police discovered Knoll lying on the roadway along 9th Street near Shreveport Avenue. Knoll had been shot multiple times and died of his injuries, according to court documents. Lewis was named a person of interest back in 2017, but the case then went cold. Then, on Friday, police say Lewis just walked into the police station and confessed to Knoll's murder. Now he's being held on a $45,000 bond.
Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss crazy courtroom moments like this one.